to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here. Today we are talking about the movie Pearl. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go ahead and watch the movie first before you watch this review. Pearl is the, I suppose, prequel to the movie X, which came out earlier this year, directed by Ti West and starring Mia Goth. It's about a woman in, I believe, 1918 who has some psychological issues and some sort of homicidal kind of tendencies, who wants to be a famous dancer. So, as far as what I liked about the movie, overall I thought the cast was good. Mia Goth is in here as the main character Pearl, and she has a great role, and she's pretty much on screen the entire movie, and her performance is overall really quite good. David Corenswet is the name of the projectionist. I liked him a lot. Tandi Wright was her mother Ruth, and again, great performance overall. I don't know if she's really German. I assume she is, because she's got a great German accent and she speaks German well. Matthew Sunderland is Pearl's father, who of course doesn't really speak much, but he still gives a very good performance considering that he's mostly comatose or non-responsive. And then Emma Jenkins-Purro is Mitzi, her friend, who also wants to be a dancer. I think her performance was one of my favorites, other than Mia Pearl's. She stood out a lot. I did really like the time period. It was 1918, which is an interesting period of time, right toward the end of the First World War, I believe. And I overall like the look of the movie. And when it opens up, the credits are very much in an old style. I don't know if it's quite 1918. It looks more like 30s style to me, but it definitely has that kind of Gone with the Wind or, Wizard of Oz kind of look to it. Which I like. It's a time period that I find interesting, and it's always good to see. And honestly, we see a lot of the 30s, 40s, 50s. We don't see too much of, the aughts, the teens, whatever they call that time period. There's that part where, what's her name? Emma. No, I'm sorry, Mitzi. Mitzi's mother gives them a pig, and Pearl's mother doesn't want it, so she just refuses to take it and leaves it on the porch, and it sort of builds up these maggots and flies and everything over time, and it looks disgusting. I like that. That was interesting. It was a good way to sort of show the dysfunction that's going on in the house and the mental instability that both Pearl and her mother had. I did like the gore. There's some good gory scenes in this. A couple good when the one guy the girl gets stabbed in the head with the pitchfork. It was a really fun scene. There's a couple kills at the end when she kills the girl at the end. Good stuff. Chopping up the bodies, with the axe and chopping off the head. All that was really fun and well done and looked pretty realistic, honestly. So for what it was, I was impressed. And overall, the movie itself, I think, is really well made. Despite what you think of the actual movie, I think it's well shot, it's well directed, the cinematography is great, it looks great, the sound is great. Overall, it's a really well made, really good movie from a technical standpoint. As far as what I didn't like about the movie, it is very slow. It's a very, very slow movie. Not much really happens. It's mostly kind of a character study, I guess, about Pearl and about her dreams. In some ways, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Carrie, maybe. This young woman who's got this overbearing mother. It reminded me of a lot of different stories, actually. There are not enough kills in this movie for me. I think I went into it expecting more of a straight horror movie, and this really is not a horror movie. There's some, I guess, horrific things that happen, but for the most part, I don't know. She doesn't really kill anybody till like 45 minutes, an hour into it. And I think she only kills about 4 people total, if I'm right. Her mom, her dad, her friend Mitzi, and the projectionist. I believe that's it. So, again, that's fine. She does kill her parents. Again, kind of a Lizzie Borden thing in some ways. But for me, I don't know. I just wanted more kills, I guess. I wanted to see her go crazy at the dance recital and kill a bunch of people there, which wouldn't have made sense from a story standpoint, I guess. But like, I don't know. I went into this expecting gore and blood and violence, and I didn't really get it too much. Speaking of blood, I didn't like the blood in this movie. There's a couple times where you see she's got the blood on her face, and it's just too bright. It's this sort of bright red color that blood is not generally. I mean, it could be capillary blood is different from venous blood or whatever, but arterial blood. But to me, it just looked very fake. There's a couple times where they've got blood or blood's coming out, and it's the wrong color. It's a little too bright. It's a little too orange, and it needs to be a little more red. That kind of bothered me. For a movie that's all about dancing and about how she wants to be a great dancer, the choreography wasn't perfect. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was definitely off. When she was dancing in her head and she was imagining the audition, she's got the other women dancing with her. Like, there's a part where the spacing between the two of them is off, and a couple of them, their timing was a little bit off. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a dancer, but for a movie that's about someone who wants to be a dancer and it's all about dancing, I expected that scene to be better choreographed or to look better. Maybe that's just me. I don't know what I'm talking about here. The movie was written by Mia Goth and Ty West, the director and the star. And you can tell that it was written by the star because there's a scene toward the end where she has a very long monologue where she's sort of explaining, she's talking to Mitzi and she's kind of role playing with her. And it's a nice enough scene and her acting is quite good, but the scene goes on for so long. It's probably only a couple minutes, but it feels like 10 minutes. And it gets to a point where like shot's just holding on her and she's just going, and it becomes comedic. To me, it seems like it's rife for parody. Like I'm explaining something mundane in the exact same level. Again, her acting is good. It's really quite good, but it's written as if an actor wrote it. And they were sitting there going, oh, this is going to be a great scene, man. I can't wait to act this scene. I'm going to act the shit out of this scene. So I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way because it just seemed very much like something a actor would do who's also writing the scene for themselves. There's a mirror effect thing they do at the end that I didn't care for. Yeah, I mean, it was stylistic. It was something, I guess, but I didn't really need it. I think maybe it was supposed to kind of reflect her psyche fracturing or something like that. But I think it was more just like, oh, wouldn't it look cool if we had a mirror effect on the shots here at the end? Yeah. And then the movie ends with Mia Goth just sort of laughing into the camera for an uncomfortably long amount of time. And again, in a way, I sort of appreciate that because it was just so weird and over the top, like a Tim and Eric sketch or something like that. But also it was just weird and cringy, you know. So I'm sure for some people that was probably great. And I'm sure there are some people who probably watched this movie and loved it and just it resonated with them and it really hit something for them emotionally that they really liked. Again, I don't think the movie is without merit. It's just I didn't like what they were doing with it, I guess. The movie is directed by Ty West, who has done quite a few movies, I suppose, and I haven't really liked most of them. Nothing personal against him. I don't think he's a bad filmmaker or anything. It's just his sensibilities are different than mine, I guess. Like I said, West and Goth wrote this together. It sounds like they've got another movie coming out called Maxine, which is, I think, a sequel to X. I believe that's coming out later this year or next year. The trailer just came out. I actually haven't watched it yet. And then I mentioned before, but there's a lot of similarities to Wizard of Oz in this. You know, she finds the scarecrow and pulls him down and dances with him, and then engages in some lustful activity with the scarecrow. She's kind of dressed sort of like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. She's riding her bike through the cornfields and everything. There's a lot of Wizard of Oz, I think, intentional Wizard of Oz references to this. That was interesting, I guess. It's a good movie, right? Although this is set, 15 years before Wizard of Oz came out, but all right. So yeah, for me, the movie just did not really work very well. I found it kind of boring and not too interesting. I didn't really find the kills very satisfying. I'd read that there was some, graphic sexual content, and I thought, okay, maybe there'll be some kind of psychosexual stuff that could be interesting. But it was mostly just like a clip of they recreated like a stag film, or they were trying to make like a stag film. So okay, it's fine, but I don't know. I overall did not find the film too interesting, or didn't really care what it had to say. I didn't care too much about this character, Pearl, and I still don't necessarily understand why she looks exactly like Mia Goth's character in X, and why even personality-wise they have some similarities. Because Mia Goth's character in X also wanted to be famous. She wanted to be a big singer slash actress, I guess. And Mia Goth wants to be, or Pearl wants to be a dancer. So why these parallels? Why have the same actress play this character? Is there a reason for it? I don't understand. So yeah, I was not a big fan of this movie. I didn't like it very much. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. It was definitely on the downside for me. But if you disagree or if you like the movie, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I will see you here again next week.